Holly was a young woman with big dreams of being successful and one day seeing the world. Everything was going particularly well until evil found its way into her world. This is the cold and chilling case of Holly Gazzard. Holly Gazzard was born on the 24th of July in the year of 1993 to loving parents Nick and Amanda Gazzard. Holly was their second born, as bigger sister Chloe was just a couple of years older, and given the fact that there was only a couple of years age difference between them both, Holly and Chloe grew up together with an exceptionally close sisterly bond. Holly and her loving family lived in Gloucester, and as a young child, Holly was very active, and with so much energy she never stood still for a second. Both of Holly's parents, Amanda and Nick, were both very proud of their daughters. The family unit was strong, and both of the children had a very close connection with both of their parents. Now, as Holly got a little bit older, she fell in love with playing sports, ranging from rugby, football, tennis, and she even took karate lessons. She was definitely somewhat of a tomboy in her earlier years, for sure. And as Holly grew up, reaching her middle teens, she slowly blossomed into a beautiful, young, glowing and confident young woman. She started taking an interest in more feminine stuff, such as makeup, hairdressing, fashion. She really enjoyed playing with makeup and experimenting with her own hair colour and hairstyle. And upon leaving school, Holly got an apprenticeship as a hairdresser. She'd already known for a long time what she wanted to do, and so she went for it. She was very friendly and chatty, very outgoing, confident, and she enjoyed the company of others. And so working in a salon whilst having the chance to be creative and working with friendly people was absolutely perfect for her, and it's what she wanted to do. Holly made friends easily with staff members and her clients, and she was liked and enjoyed by all who knew her. Holly also had big dreams. She really wanted to travel and see the world, and even experience different cultures, and even turn her hand to learning new languages. And so after talking to her parents, the idea of their little girl travelling the world by herself seemed somewhat unsafe and a little scary. So they decided to settle for combining her hairstyling job with working on a cruise ship. That way she gets to do both. It was an absolutely brilliant idea, and so 20-year-old Holly and her loving father took steps together in making her dreams come true. Holly applied for the position of working on a cruise ship. Her application was approved and she was successful. And so whilst waiting for a start date with Steiner International, Holly found part-time evening employment working in a quiet local wine bar called Zest. And it was there whilst working at Zest she met a 21-year-old handsome man named Asher Maslin. And it wasn't too long before the pair would fall head over heels for each other and begin an intimate relationship. And then, just a short while later, young Holly would eventually invite her new boyfriend Asher to meet her family. However, Amanda, Holly's mum, took a disliking to Asher. Amanda's actual words spoken as he walked in through the front door was, "Oh no, not him." And she really didn't like him. Because Amanda used to work in a local school where he attended, and he was known for bullying and being a trouble causer, a smoker, and everything apart from being a model student. However, other family members didn't really know him, and so they gave him and their relationship the benefit of the doubt. Now, the relationship was really good, and Holly seemed to be exceptionally happy. And so the worries and fears from Holly's mother were pushed to one side as everything was going exceptionally well. Eventually, it was time for Holly to move to London to complete her cruise ship training, but Holly didn't leave Gloucester alone. It would be just 2 days later, midweek, when Asher followed Holly to London. Bearing in mind he had no money, he had no job, and he didn't have anywhere to stay, meaning Holly would have to sneak him into her dorm, adding internal and emotional pressure on her during her transitioning stage of her career. Anyways, everything seemed to be going really well for Holly, and she was so excited about her future adventures ahead of her, and rightly so. She finally got her ship, which was called the Celebration, a large, beautiful ship that sailed around the Bahamas For around 9 months a year, Holly's family were so proud of her going on this cruise ship. They knew it was something that she really wanted to do. However, after just 1 week of being at sea, Holly's family received a shocking and surprising phone call. It was Holly telling her family that she wanted to come back. Now, Holly was a strong-headed individual. Whatever she wanted to do, she always persevered. And so Holly's family thought it was very strange and so much unlike her. It was her absolute dream to meet new people and work on a cruise ship and see the world and travel, and now all of a sudden, it wasn't? Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it left many people just assuming that maybe Holly was homesick. And so nothing more was said about this broken scenario and missed opportunity. Soon after returning home, she got a job at a local salon, and her relationship with Asher continued. In the May of 2013, the Gazard family came together to enjoy a birthday party and a birthday meal in a cute restaurant in Gloucester. Holly came over with her partner Asher to join in the family celebrations, and as for Asher on the other hand, he was already drunk on arrival. His behaviour and actions at the dinner table were what could only be described as indecent, disruptive, aggressive and argumentative. Also, Asher was being really disrespectful towards Holly. He was actually treating her like as if she was dirt, and his actions didn't go unnoticed by Holly's family members either. In fact, Asher was rude to almost everybody who was working in the restaurant. He came across as quite abusive, intimidating and aggressive, and the way he was treating Holly was horrendous. He was being really short-tempered and being really controlling with her. And Holly's family started to feel uncomfortable and sour towards Asher, purely because of the way he was treating her. And when they both left the dinner party to return back to London, Holly's family were by now really worried and concerned. Asher's dark side by this time was really starting to come to light, as further abuse and aggression towards Holly would take place, and with more and more sudden outbursts displayed by Asher, the physical attacks became more apparent to others around Holly. He would often punch her, kick her, slap her, spit at her, call her names. So yeah, he was a real piece of work. This one time outside the cinema house in London, the pair had a disagreement, ending in Asher gripping Holly around the neck and strangling her. Luckily, the attack was actually witnessed by the police. However, Holly didn't want to press charges, and so nothing became of it. And so with all that being said and done, one serious question that needs to be asked right now, and that is, who is Asher Maslin? Well, Asher is a man with an extremely dark past and a secretive history. In fact, what he is a well-known perpetrator, known to the police for a string of violent attacks on people, including women, ex-girlfriends, and even minors. And so yeah, to put it bluntly, he's actually a nasty foul piece of waste. Okay, so let's get back to the timeline here. So, after months and months of fights and arguments later, Holly and Asher both decided to go to the Notting Hill Carnival together. However, Asher couldn't keep his hands to himself, and during a heated argument, he actually punched Holly in the face, resulting in Holly packing up all of her belongings and then moving from London back to Gloucester, where she moved back into the family home. Holly by this point in her life was a mere shell of her former self. She wasn't the loving and bubbly person everybody knew her to be. In fact, she seemed scared, unhappy, and she looked very withdrawn. Now, Holly's family were brilliant. They were so supportive, and they gave her all the time and space she needed. Eventually, Holly found work at a local salon called La Bella Beauty, and very slowly Holly began to find normality once again. Now, this is where things take a much darker and twisted turn, for the worst. Because unknown to Holly, just weeks later, Asher had actually found his way back to Gloucester, and now he wasn't going to leave Holly alone. Her missed phone calls were continuously increasing. Unanswered text messages sent to her phone were also continuously increasing. He kept posting handwritten letters through her door, with more and more texts being sent to her phone. And for Holly, the situation felt like it was never going to finish. And Holly had already made up her mind. She made the decision when leaving London she was no longer wanting anything more to do with him, and she didn't want to see him. She didn't love him, she didn't need him, and she certainly didn't want him in her life. But Asher couldn't accept that. He was really struggling with Holly's decision. And so on February the 14th in the year of 2014, Holly went out with Asher to a coffee bar to deal with him once and for all and face to face. She told him for the last time, and to his face once and for all, that she no longer wanted him, and she wasn't in love with him, and she didn't want him in her life. Now Asher, by this point, he knew he'd already lost her, and so in pure temper, he began shouting at Holly, and then he actually picked up somebody else's drink off another table and then threw it all over Holly into her face. Holly then ran out of the coffee bar, and she jumped into her car, and as she was driving away, Asher opened the passenger door and then jumped into her car, slammed on her handbrake and stopped her from leaving. Terrified and startled, Holly didn't know what to do next as Asher began threatening her and her family. Yeah, he actually said to her,
if you leave me, I'm going to kill you and I'm going to kill all of your family.
Yeah, that's what he said. He then jumped out of her car, but not before taking the bank card out of her handbag, which was down in the footwell of the car. He then made his way to the bank machine, immediately withdrew all of her money from her bank, leaving Holly scared and badly shaken. The next day the police were involved as Holly did make a statement, but she was also having second doubts about pressing charges as she knew that this line of inquiry and action would lead to court and she didn't want to see his face again. Reluctantly, to everyone's relief, Holly did sign the statement, and the police then began their lines of inquiries. It seemed like the ordeal was finally over, and the Gazard family could once again finally breathe a sigh of relief. Fast forward just 3 days, and the date is now Tuesday the 18th of February, and 20-year-old Holly Gazard had turned into work as normal. It was an ordinary day, and the mood in the salon was fine, and Holly, for the first time in a long time, was starting to show signs of her old self. Her bigger sister Chloe messaged Holly after lunchtime asking if everything's okay, and Holly responded back saying, "Yeah, it's been a great day as far, and I've not heard anything from him, so let's hope he's got the message." And the conversation ended there. The only problem there was Asher. He got the message alright, loud and clearly, but he was still determined nevertheless to have the last word with Holly. And so that's when Asher put his brutally and sick, evil, twisted plan into action. And on the 18th of February, in the morning that same day Holly was at work trying to re-find herself and rebuild her life, Asher is captured on CCTV entering a pawn shop at around 11:20 AM. He approaches the counter and pawns in Holly's old DVD player in exchange for £5. Asher is then seen almost an hour later, captured again on CCTV in a supermarket buying a 12-inch kitchen knife with the money he received from the pawn shop. Asher is then seen many more times on street CCTV, loitering around the city centre. Here he is captured 7 more times throughout the day. It was now around 5:50 in the evening, near a closing time. There was just 2 customers in the salon, nearing the end of their treatment, with only 3 members of staff left on duty, when all of a sudden, Asher casually walks inside the salon and approaches the front desk. He calmly asks the junior booking staff if he could have a quick word with Holly. Now at that time Holly was just fixing the last stages of her client's hair, when all of a sudden she notices him stood at the front desk, and so she politely asks him to leave and tells him that she doesn't want to talk to him. He then walks up to Holly, muttering something under his breath, along the lines of, "Oh well, you're gonna talk to this." He then grabbed Holly by her left arm and then stabbed her in the neck. He then stabbed her in the head, pushing the blade directly into the right side of her temple lobe. After he finally managed to dislodge the blade from her skull, he then stabbed her in the chest and heart 11 more times, before finally stabbing her in the arm. This twisted and poisonous evil monster stabbed Holly 14 times. 14 times! And then calmly left the salon as if nothing had happened. And obviously Holly didn't stand a chance, as she laid on the salon floor, bleeding to death and drowning in her own blood. And with horrified staff members and clients watching on in pure panic and horror, it was an absolute brutal, sick and evil, shocking and very public killing. And with many screams now being heard from panicking people with inside the salon, casual onlookers quickly ran over to the scene of the crime and they actually started filming Holly as she lay dying. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. To those people who were there just stood around recording, shame on you. Sadly, at 6:51 PM, Holly was pronounced dead and Asher had just taken Holly's life. Now obviously, Holly's family were completely and utterly devastated. The consultant came forward with the only comforting news possible to give the Gazzard family. And even then it was news. He said that after the first and second blow, she wouldn't have known anything about it. And that she wouldn't have known anything about the attack and she wouldn't have felt any pain. And so it's highly doubtful that she would have suffered. Now, after all the threats made by Asher, the police simply couldn't take any more chances, and so the Gazzard family were moved from their family address to an unknown safe location in a different town. However, just 8 hours later, on the 19th of February, in the early hours of the morning, Asher was captured and arrested by the police for the murder of Holly Gazzard. He was then taken to the local police station and immediately interrogated, always responding to every question asked by police with no comment. Typical, doesn't care, scumbag. According to the police description and the CCTV imagery captured that day, Asher's demeanour never changed. He was calm when he entered the salon, and he was just as calm when he left the crime scene. Along with all other CCTV, including the pawn shop and the supermarket footage, along with eyewitness accounts, thus proving it was a cold and calculated and planned killing. And on the 16th of July in 2014, at Gloucester Crown County Court, Asher Maslin was sentenced to serve a full life term behind bars. That's just 24 years behind bars, meaning in 23 years he can actually apply for parole, and if successful with the parole board, he will get the chance to start a new life once he's released. However, Holly's family, they continue to serve their life sentence each and every day, always knowing that Holly will never be able to restart over. And so in the eyes of Holly's beautiful family, 24 years with the option of parole available just doesn't seem fair. Hello there, and thank you for watching another episode of When Evil Follows. If you have enjoyed this case then, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Remember to hit the bell, that way you'll never miss out on any of our amazing up and coming videos, just like this one. So what did you think to this case? Do you feel 24 years is a suitable punishment? Maybe you believe if Asher is released from jail, he can go on to kill again. Either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As Halloween quickly approaches and the colder nights start to creep in, here's 2 more videos that are guaranteed to warm you up through your cold chills. And until next time, look after yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you again the next time when evil follows. Bye.